Before you continue to watch this video, I'm gonna need you to use your thinking cap. I don't even need you to be like open-minded. I don't care about that. You be as closed-minded as you want, but if you're gonna proceed to watch this video, use your thinking cap, use your brain. This video is only for people who are actually like even have like a semblance of intelligence, okay? So Hollow Knight Silksong dropped, a very long-awaited game. Long-awaited for me personally as well, because you know, it's the sequel to my favorite game of all time, Hollow Knight. When I first started playing it, I avoided every single conversation about it online until I got to a certain point where I was like, okay, I know I'm ahead of most people and I can look at things because I know there won't be many or any spoilers for me personally. And it's such a surprise to see that the majority of the conversation online has been about the difficulty of the game, which I get, you know, it's a difficult game, so of course people are going to talk about, oh, this boss is hard, or this boss is hard, or like this mechanic is hard, but it's a different scenario when it's a bunch of people like whining and, oh yeah, excuse me if you're new here, I'm extremely vulgar. Yeah, it's just like a bunch of people whining and bitching and crying about, oh, this game's too hard. I can't play it. I'm gonna have to mod the game to make it easier. All right, pussy. All right, bitch. What is happening, bro? I don't understand. Like, did we seriously walk into Hollow Knight Silksong thinking it was gonna be like a cakewalk? I mean, Hollow Knight isn't necessarily known to be the easiest game on the planet. I don't understand what the confusion was here. And the fact that the complaints have gotten to a point where apparently Team Cherry is going to be changing 2 bosses to be easier. It's crazy that the 2 bosses that they're changing are like really early game bosses and are comically easy to be the ones that are being changed. I'm going to trust Team Cherry on this one. I mean, sure, whatever, but I found those freaking bosses to be pretty freaking easy. And it'd be a different conversation if I was like a really good player, if I was like, oh my god, like if I was freaking Fireborn or Hunt Hustle, if I was one of these like, oh yeah, these freaking Hollow Knight PvP players who like beat freaking any Radiance, it would be an entirely different conversation. But it's the fact that like I'm a very casual player myself and I'm able to like make it through with only a moderate amount of difficulty. I mean, it's not like, it's pretty hard, it's difficult. I'm not gonna sit here and act like it's the easiest game on the planet. Me calling Silksong easy is just not gonna come out of my mouth. That's just a thing that's not going to happen. But it's certainly not hard enough. It's certainly not like exceedingly difficult. There's some things that, oh yeah, it kind of feels like bullshit, but that's just gaming in general. Silksong is the sequel to a game that is infamously known for being comically hard. People literally call it the freaking Dark Souls of Metroidvania, so I don't understand what the confusion was here. And what I think it is I think it's just a wave of new players who refuse to play the original Hollow Knight and just want to hop into Silksong, which is an idea that I just genuinely cannot possibly comprehend. Considering Silksong is a direct sequel to Hollow Knight, it only makes sense to play it right after Hollow Knight. It'd be different if it was like, oh yeah, you don't really need any Hollow Knight knowledge in order to freaking understand what's going on in Silksong. I couldn't see myself really understanding anything in Silksong if I hadn't played Hollow Knight before. And I'm not saying, oh yeah, you have to go back and buy Hollow Knight right now, which by the way, I mean, if you did, I mean, that's a collective $30 out of your wallet, Silksong and Hollow Knight together. People were praising Silksong for being so cheap in the first place, so I mean, it's not as if like, oh, it's gonna be like a giant dent in your wallet to freaking go buy Hollow Knight and then just play it. Even then, just like watch a playthrough. Even then, in that case, if you're gonna go back and just watch a playthrough on Hollow Knight, just watch a playthrough on Silksong at that point. I'm not gonna lie, because the cool thing about Hollow Knight and the cool thing about Silksong is that it meshes gameplay and in a very immersive world and very intricate and interesting lore with a very good story, and all those things mesh together very well. And if you're only going in for one specific thing, it's better to just experience the game vicariously through someone else instead of complaining like a fucking buffoon. I don't understand the concept of buying a game and then complaining that it's too hard to the developers and being like, fix this, change it, Team Cherry, I'm so fucking mad. I saw somebody in a very early part of the game and they were complaining about the pogo system, which, I mean, I get it. The pogo system is different, it's new, it's adapted from Hollow Knight, because in Hollow Knight, the way that the pogo system worked was you would be able to slash down, and as long as it hit any surface, it would propel you. Now it's diagonal, it's more direct, it's a lot more of a focused pogo system, so I get it. It's something to adapt to, but at the end of the day, I feel like there's so many parts of this game that function as a proper quote-unquote tutorial. Like, people are like, oh yeah, Hollow Knight Silksong doesn't have a tutorial, the tutorial to Silksong is playing Hollow Knight, which is true. I'm not gonna sit here and act like, oh, if you just hop into Silksong, you're gonna be able to understand equally as much as someone who played Hollow Knight already. No, play Hollow Knight first if you want to like truly be able to understand how this game is going to play, how most of the mechanics are going to function. But however, while there's not like a very like direct tutorial, while there's not something that's like, oh yeah, here's how you do this, this, and this, like, there is a very good portion of the game that functions as a really good tutorial. The way that Silksong is paced, and the way that Hollow Knight is paced as well, it makes it so that certain areas are locked off from you at a certain point because you don't have the correct materials to get to a certain point. You don't have the right abilities, you don't have the right key, etc., etc. And what's really good about how Silksong and Hollow Knight handles that is, since certain areas are quote-unquote blocked off, it forces you to utilize the capabilities that you currently have until you can get those other things. The reason why like pogoing is such an important part, specifically in the early game, is because it's teaching you how to use the new pogo system. It, like, later in the freaking game, yeah, I mean, there's still like a lot of pogoing stuff, but it's not nearly as hard as, it's not nearly as like packed together in terms of difficulty as it is in the early game, because they want to throw the most difficult stuff at you at first to force you to learn it. I genuinely don't understand how people couldn't understand the idea of a learning curve, especially in a game where the entire point is the beginning is going to feel really dry, the beginning is going to feel relatively stale, and you're going to feel like you don't have many things that you can do, and then later game you get more and more stuff, but you're already so adept with the early game stuff that the later game stuff is not as much second nature as the early game stuff. It's trying to get you used to the basic and core mechanics of the game, and I feel like a lot of people just genuinely do not understand that, and that's why I think they just need to go back and play Hollow Knight, if I'm being 100% honest. I could not possibly fathom playing Silksong having not played Hollow Knight. There's like no reason to anyways. Like, once again, you're not going to understand the lore, you're not going to be able to pick up the game very easily, so you're more than likely going to hate the gameplay, and then, like, at this point, you're just playing Silksong to listen to the fucking soundtrack and look at the pretty colors, bro. I don't understand. This is, like, supreme levels of stupidity. I genuinely could not possibly fathom why people, like, instead of just learning the game or playing the game that came before it, they just want to complain their asses off. Could you please, like, get out of my beloved fandom? Can we get, like, the fucking speedrunners back and all the tryhards back? That's all I want, I'm not gonna lie. Because the tryhards, like, even though they made me feel bad for not being good at the game, at least they were good at the game and were good and quiet about it. Like, this new wave of Silksong fans is, like, genuinely making me fucking cry. Please go back and play Hollow Knight, for the love of God. And I appreciate all of the people who have gone back to play Hollow Knight. I love seeing, like, all these little, like, freaking Hollow Knight gameplays pop up on my feed. I'm, like, currently watching my friend play Hollow Knight before Silksong, as I advised him to, and he's enjoying the game. It's not as if I'm saying, oh, go back and play fucking Resident Evil 1 through 5 in order to play Resident Evil Village. No, it's like, go play this one game that's a masterpiece, like one of the best games of all time. It's not like I'm recommending you it's not like I'm recommending you, like, butt booty garbage. It's not like I'm saying, oh yeah, before you play Elden Ring, go play Demon Souls. Like, no, I'm saying go back, play the relatively easier game, which is also a masterpiece, which will help you understand the lore and mechanics of this game, and then come back to Silksong. I don't understand why people are the way that they are, but whatever, we ball. I've been enjoying Silksong myself, hope all of you are, and I hope anyone watching is not one of those buffoons who's been complaining online. Yeah, that's all I really have for today. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment how bad you are at Silksong, and I'll catch y'all when GTA 6 drops. That's the next time I'll upload. Out of control. I'm telling you, nobody's safe. I've been living my life limbo. My ice came in a